Welcome to the Ditch the Struggle podcast. I'm your host, Alana Roso. I'm a graphic designer turned career and success coach who knew I could do better, but kept falling short of where I wanted to go. But after years of exploring personal and career development, business, money mindset, and energy work, I'm here to tell you that yes, you can move from stuck and defeated to empowered and confident. Ready to dive in? Awesome. Together, let's ditch the struggle. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I had a really interesting trigger come up last week. So I thought I would talk about that and also talk about my 30-something-year-old self who was a little misguided and perhaps a total idiot. So what was triggering me? Famous pop star gets engaged to someone and the internet, the world goes crazy. People are posting about it. It's all over social media. I mean, I'm very much limiting my time on social media, which I'm going to talk a little bit about as well. But yeah, the world is going crazy. And then the people that are telling the people celebrating that they should just like calm down and take a moment, they're so mad because they just want to celebrate love and they want to be in it. And they're just so thrilled and they're so happy for this couple that they don't know, right? And I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting really frustrated. And every time I log on to Instagram, it's there. And I'm not feeling happy about this. So the trigger starts percolating pretty quickly. And I'm kind of wound up. And I was like, okay, what is this all about? Well, it didn't take me very long to figure out what was going on. Because it was reminding me of my 30-something-year-old self who was kind of an idiot. And so I don't want to, criticize anybody, or I'm not throwing shade on anybody who wants to celebrate what they want, but I want to talk to the version of myself that I was and what I have learned by reflecting on that and looking back and having made like serious changes in my life because, as I said, I was very misguided. But so let me paint a picture of what I was into in my 30s. Okay, that version of myself. And I'm going to it's really funny. The only way I can understand my timeline of my life is through my career. I literally have to sometimes check my own LinkedIn and be like, okay, I was at that job. I was doing this thing. So I was working at Harlequin. I was an art director. That was a pretty cool job. One of the best I've ever had. And I worked with just amazing people. And I was really into celebrity gossip. So this was a time when paparazzi was huge, TMZ was crazy. It was all the magazines. Now, I did not have a subscription to all the magazines. And I don't know if that doesn't make it any better. I just feel like I have to say that. But I was really into reading Hello magazine, the British one, not the Canadian one. When the Canadian one came out, it's always been pretty lame. But I was really into the British one. I read all the things. And one of the things I was really into was something called blind items. And some of you may know what I'm talking about. They were these riddles that certain gossip columnists would post where you had to figure out what celebrity they were talking about. And they were cloaked in all these symbols or potentially these hints and these Easter eggs and all this stuff. And I used to get really into them. And there was one particular website called crazydaysandnights.net. And it still exists and it looks exactly the same. And I kind of appreciate that. But this website still exists. But what's so interesting is that maybe 7 years ago I went on it and I had this feeling that it was not the same person running it, that it was like a machine running this. I just had this intuitive hit. As soon as I hit the website, I was like, oh, this looks exactly the same, but this is not the same. You know what I mean? So I never logged on again, and I haven't been following any celebrity gossip or websites for years. That's not to say that I don't sometimes love a good, work story tea, but I was so into this whole world. There used to be a website. I'm not going to use the real name because I'm going to say I have a bit of a story here, but let's call it amygossip.com. And Amy Gossip was I mean, huge, 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 especially in Canada. It was just like the go-to source. And Amy, who was running it, was just really giving different stories. And again, I was so absorbed in this world. I would like check it multiple times a day. And I can't even believe I'm admitting this, but Amy from Amy Gossip like had an event in Toronto where you could buy tickets. I paid money to go to this event downtown. I think it was on like DuPont Street in some art gallery where you could hear her share stories and mingle with her. And like, I went with one of my friends. Like, I spent money going to a gossip event. This is how into it I was. And I don't know how Declan put up with all this, but I would like talk about it. So a lot of my energy and my focus was going towards like this celebrity world. And like, I kind of knew it was all fake, but not really. Like, I didn't understand it the way I do now. And I'm not going to be going into that whole rabbit hole of what really goes on in Hollywood, but I have gone down it personally. And yeah, I am not interested in any of these stories anymore. I absolutely do not believe that any of these marriages are real. They are a PR move. And I sometimes laugh to myself because of anyone, I should know how marketing and PR works. Like, I know how you can spin something into anything you want it to be. And yet I allowed myself to get wrapped up in it. And I think that was because it was fun. It was like, it was a distraction. It was a way to bond with other people and talk about something that wasn't heavy because work could be really stressful. And I mean, at the time, I was doing a lot of romance covers, which wasn't the most stressful job I've ever had, but it was very demanding. Like, there was a high quantity of work. But I was just like so absorbed and willing to be absorbed. And that's the difference, is that now I am just not willing to be absorbed. I am not going to let my energy go that way. I talk about energy as a currency way back in episode 6. I'm talking about boundaries in that one. And I am very protective of my time, but I am more so protective of my energy and where that's going and how much I have, because I only have so much a day. And then the other thing that I'm really, really focusing on now is protecting my attention and really looking at where my attention is going. And part of what has sparked that is I watched a video on the After School YouTube channel, which is at After School, and school is spelled SKOOL. I will put that in the link below. And the video was called How to Reclaim Your Attention and Your Life by Dr. K. So there are these animated shorts of different concepts and philosophies. We've been following After School for 5 or 6 years. We love it. And it was really about, the TikTok brain and all these short form videos and how we are now, trained to have a shorter attention span. We all know this, right? We know that this is happening and we kind of joke about it. Oh, no one has an attention span anymore. But I so do not want to be that person. And when I start to learn, or when I started to learn how I'm really being manipulated by big tech to be attached to my device, to be, doom scrolling for hours, just be glued to that experience and distracted from everything else in my life. When I really dug into that, I was like, no, because the best way to get me personally to stop doing something is when you explain to me how I'm being manipulated. And then I'm like, no, I'm not playing your game. I'm reevaluating my whole relationship with social media right now. I'll talk about that a little bit. But what I loved about this video is it really focuses on your attention and where that's going. And every day we have the choice as to where our attention is going. And if I could sit down with that 30-something-year-old version of myself back then, well, first of all, she probably wouldn't want to sit down. She'd be too busy to take my appointment. I would have to maybe lure her with a grande Starbucks soy chai latte, extra hot, no water. That would have been her love language back then, not so much anymore, although I love a good chai latte, just not a chemical shitstorm chai latte. So I would have to lure her with a chai latte, sit her down, and if I was to ask her why she cares about all of this stuff that's going on, probably she would have been a bit defensive. It's fun. It I would have probably said it distracts me. It's like keeps my brain going because I'm like trying to solve these puzzles and these riddles about people that I literally don't know. I would have justified it and really just said it was entertainment and fun. And like, that's a good enough reason. Now, of course, I'm younger. But now I'm kind of horrified by how much time and energy I spent. And then, if I got to the end of my life, and I don't know if this will happen, but if I have to see a review of how many hours I spent reading gossip stuff and Hello Magazine and all of that, I think I'm going to be horrified. Hopefully I'm making up for it now because I don't, engage in any of that stuff. And I've, really working on the social media piece. But I just don't want to be that person. And that's like very important to me right now is what kind of person do I want to be? What is that identity I'm trying to carve out? And I do not want part of my identity to be someone who has no attention span and is just on social media all the time, or someone who's completely absorbed in celebrity gossip. Now, these people, they don't know you exist. They do not care you exist. You don't know them. And it's just a full distraction from putting time and energy into real humans, people around you who do care about you, and the people around you that you should be kind of celebrating and hanging out with. It's just a new lens for me to see things through. And this is why I was getting triggered, because it simply reminded me of a version of myself that I used to be that I do not want to be. I do not like that version. She was doing great. She did her best, but there's certain things I was like, no. There is a quote that goes around the internet all the time around more in political seasons. And I'm sure you've all heard it. It's give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Had to look it up. It's a Roman poet who said it, named Juvenal. So this one flies around and during elections, politics, all that stuff. And people, they get, and I'm like, guys, that is great. I know it is insane what's happening in all areas. But this celebrity world, this gossip culture, all the stuff, all the TikTok obsession, it is the bread and circuses. It is just a different version of it. We are not better because we're not engaging in some of the political craziness. If we are just then moving our attention to this world of fakeness, because it's all fake, right? It is literally all fake. So why are we putting time and energy into stuff that is fake? It's the attention. So your attention now is focused on something that is fake and contrived and designed to probably sell you a product or get you to be on board with one of their crazy ideas or whatever it is. So I am very curious and cautious and discerning about where my attention is going these days. As I said, I do like being on social media sometimes. I watched a video on Instagram the other day that was so funny. I was crying with tears. It was really that good. However, the time span I'm spending on it, I'm trying to shorten it. I had a 1 hour limit on my Instagram. Now it's 30 minutes. Most days I can stay with that, and I'm wanting to get it down to 15 minutes. I mean, I went down the whole road of, do I get a dumb phone? So a dumb phone is a phone that doesn't have all the apps and all that, although there's a new world of dumb phones that let you have apps for banking, Uber, necessities of Waze, because it would be hard to live without Waze now, but it doesn't let you have any social media stuff. And I mean, I'm pretty disciplined in terms of making sure that I'm not spending too much time. I absolutely do not go to my phone in the morning. That first hour of my day, it is precious. My attention is not going to that. And actually, now I've started powering off my phone around 8:30 at night. I'm really just becoming obsessed with my attention, because there's been a few times where I'll catch myself on my phone looking at really cute dogs on Instagram, and beside me is my own real, very cute dog. Maybe I should be putting my attention on her. So I will literally drop my phone and then go over and just redirect myself. So I'm constantly trying to redirect myself, because we are being pulled in a million different directions, and it's a slippery slope. There is a book called Digital Minimalism. I'll put the book link in the notes below. I can't remember the author. That's pretty extreme, but there is just so much that's going on that is draining our energy so that we're not doing the things we want to do. We're not like, whatever you want to do, the goal you want to do. If I had just taken all that time I spent obsessed about celebrity culture, way back when, 20s and my 30s, if I had just taken that time and maybe done like crossword puzzles, Sudoku, I suck at that, knitting, I could have knit scarves for half of Canada at this point. Like, I could have put my energy towards something that didn't have to necessarily be productive, but was just better for my brain health, better for my mental, spiritual well-being. So listen, this is not to tell anybody what to do, because that's never going to happen on this podcast. Well, once in a while I'll drop the hammer time and we'll do that. But for the most part, this is just me recognizing that I have regrets about how I spent some of my time and my energy and where my intention went. And that's not something I want to keep going with, because it just seems like sometimes people will say to me, you're doing a lot of things and I'm not crazy busy like I used to be. Like, I'm not in that world, which is great. But I'm solidly like doing things consistently. And a huge part of that is that I'm very protective of my time and energy, and I say no to a lot of things that are going to take me away. So I have to make sacrifices. And even though I don't believe in like struggling and suffering per se, I do believe in making sacrifices temporarily. And listen, or at least temporarily. Sometimes it has to be long term. I had to give up coffee in 2019 because I got really sick and my body was basically like, no, we're not doing this anymore. And this sounds really crazy, but once I had to give up coffee, which for some people giving up celebrity gossip or TikTok or all of those things is probably like giving up coffee, maybe even worse. Once I went through that process, and it was like coming off heroin, it was a train spotting kind of month actually. Although to be clear, obviously I've never done heroin, but it was really hard. But since I've gone through that, I don't really bat an eyelash at making sacrifices and giving things up. Like, it was weird. I'll talk to my osteopath, and if there's things she wants me to take out of my diet or things I have to stop doing or change or something, I'll be like, okay, yeah, we'll just try this. Like, I don't have the resistance. Like, I'm not so, oh my gosh, you can't take that away from me. I'm less attached to it. Even if like tea is my absolute favorite thing in the world. Like, if I was on a desert island, please just leave me with tea and toast and I will absolutely be fine for the rest of my life. But I have had to give up caffeine for certain things for small amounts of time. And if I really had to give it up, I know I could. Anyway, it's all about looking at your relationship with things, how emotionally you're connected to it. And I think we're stronger than we think in terms of what we can do and what we can shift. So again, I've been really just analyzing all this stuff. I'm kind of in an era of burning everything to the ground. Let's just make everything totally different in my life. Let's change everything up. As I said, like, the social media thing has been popping up for a while. I really did want back to the dumb phone. I did really want to get a dumb phone. A few challenges. It's much harder in Canada to have a wireless provider. With a dumb phone, it's much easier in the States. So that became a huge hurdle. So for now, what I'm doing is I've buried a whole bunch of my apps. I'm limiting the social media time. I'm just catching myself. If I feel like I'm scrolling for more than 30 seconds, I'm like, okay, this is dumb. We have to stop this. My attention, it's not worth my attention. I will give my attention to certain content creators or posts that I think are really worthy of it. But it is really hard to manage, like, monitor and limit ourselves, because they are designed to be addictive and you're getting that dopamine hit all the time. So I'm trying to let my brain, like, release my brain from that dopamine. And I will say, if there was one thing I would suggest trying, it's that no phone for the first hour of your day. It's kind of life-changing. My phone, as I said, is off in the morning, or it's at least on airplane mode. So if I want to listen to my audiobook, it's downloaded. I don't have to go into all the emails won't be popping up and texts and all that stuff. I can keep it that way. But yeah, having that morning to myself, that is setting myself up for the day. Let's put it in LinkedIn terms. We're going to set yourself up for success. how I'm spending time, what I'm doing with my time. And my mornings are going towards meditation, setting my intention, gratitude, some movement, absolutely, of some sort, depending on what my body's feeling like that day. Spending time with my dog, doing her health routine. She needs a whole bunch of eye drops 4 times a day. So it's putting my energy there, unloading the dishwasher, some normal things. But it's not going to my phone. And it's not going to celebrity gossip, because I think the more time we connect to fakeness, which we want to believe it's real, what's going on there, and we can appreciate that person's music, we can appreciate their performance, all the things they're bringing if we want. But I've just been so turned off a lot of these people because I don't believe one thing they're saying. I don't really believe that any move that they make in their personal life is not calculated with like a whole SWAT team of people behind them. And again, it really comes down to this. Why are you caring about people that don't care about you? They may scream that from the stage with, 40,000. I don't know how many people are at a concert. You couldn't pay me to go to a big concert right now. I can't. The empath in me just cannot handle that. But they're screaming it like, I love you. We love you. They don't really love you. They want you to buy their product. They want you to follow them. That's, up to you. But that's a fake illusion. That's it's a fake relationship. It's a fake relationship. And I was having all these fake relationships with all these celebrities. Not like I thought they cared about me. Obviously, I wasn't thinking that. But I was thinking it was meaningful, my interest in it, or it was like of value. And even if the value was just fun, I just had this weird, again, I was a bit of an idiot. I was like misguided and I think brainwashed into believing that I should be caring about this stuff. Like, we are bombarded with all of this information, so we think we should be caring about it. But do we really need to care about it? I mean, quite frankly, I was thrilled when Entertainment Tonight Canada closed down, not because I ever want anyone to be out of a job. I've known people that have, kind of worked on that show, but it was all promotion at the end. It was just hawking product. Like, they literally have these segments like, here's a hairdryer that retails for $109, but we're selling it for $7.99 today. Like, it was just so insane, just garbage, just garbage. And I was like, I cannot watch this. I tried to tune into TMZ a couple of weeks ago just for 5 minutes. I was like, what's this all about these days? And my body pretty well had a visceral reaction that I had to turn away. If I go to the store and I see a gossip magazine, I just can't even look at the cover. It's not resonating with me. And again, I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just different in terms of I have a different thought process, a different lens that I'm seeing it through. And really, if I could go back in time, I would shake her shoulders, my 30-something-year-old self. I would shake her shoulders, tell her maybe to go easy on the chai lattes because eventually they're going to be $10 or $12 each and you won't be able to afford them. And maybe take up that Sudoku or do something else that is more meaningful with your time and energy, because as you get older, the most valuable thing you have and the most precious thing you have is your attention. So how do you want to spend it? What do you want to do with your attention? Okay, that's my little rant for today. Take care, guys. Thank you for joining me today on Ditch the Struggle. You showing up here means so, so much to me. To dig deeper into the topics discussed today and to learn about my work, visit alanaroso.com. And don't forget to download your free resources while you're there. And if this episode resonated with you, please share with others who also want to ditch the struggle. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating and a review, and let me know what you'd like to see more of on this podcast. And before I go, I want to leave you with my 3 favorite ways to ditch the struggle. Be your own best advocate, take baby steps for the win, and forget about a linear career path. It's overrated and you are doing just fine. See you next time.